Brendan Houdek here with yet another episode of Voice Breakdown, the show where we teach you how to imitate some of the most iconic voices. Today's episode, Scooby-Dooby-Doo! How could we not do an episode about Scooby? Everybody's favorite crime-solving Great Dane, Scooby-Doo has an absolutely iconic voice. No other character sounds quite like him. Let's break this voice down. Component number 1, the vocal cords. The vocal cords are an incredibly important component for Scooby's voice. His pitch range can fluctuate greatly. Part of his sound is having these dramatic sweeps in pitch, from low to high, and vice versa. We are going to want to be able to have that vocal flexibility and versatility to move quickly between pitch ranges. Scooby's voice has a great deal of distortion in it. Interestingly enough, the distortion comes from the true vocal cords themselves, so be careful not to overdo it with this voice. Anytime the true vocal cords themselves are doing the distortion, we want to be extra careful. While it is possible to get this distortion from the false vocal cords or the epiglottis, we could end up sounding a lot more like Yoda that way than Scooby. Scooby. We don't want that. One way to try to find this distortion is to imagine doing an exasperated sigh. Or you can try to do an ape-like grunt. Then, we simply need to slide that distorted voice up and down. Ooh, 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 ooh. Component number 2, the larynx. A lot of times, Scooby's voice can sound a bit dopey. This is accomplished by lowering the larynx. Ooh. Drop that larynx a lot to get that dopey Scooby sound. When those big pitch sweeps occur that we discussed earlier, the larynx will definitely rise, however. We want to be able to make this larynx mobile. You can hear and see this most on the highest pitched part of his laugh. Component number 3, the tongue. The tongue for Scooby is a very important part of his articulation, as we'll discuss in a moment. The tongue needs to be pulled backwards into an position. This is what gives him his distinct diction. You can also feel free to move the tongue every which way while still maintaining that like sound to make his articulation even sloppier. Rabbit, raggy, roba, red, rau. Component number 4, the soft palate. The soft palate will not be in a static position for Scooby's voice. When doing the lower and dopier aspects of his voice, we will actually want to raise the soft palate a bit so that there is more oral resonance. With a raised palate but a lowered larynx, the voice will really have that dopey quality to it. But then, as we raise the pitch a bit, we want to lower the soft palate and allow some more nasal resonance. You can feel this especially on the high part of his laugh. Component number 5, articulation. Look, Scooby is a dog. He isn't going to have the world's best articulation. But give the dog, some credit. He speaks pretty well for a Great Dane. As we said earlier when discussing the tongue, the best way to think about Scooby's articulation is to imagine that everything is an or R sound. Keep that tongue bent into the position and allow the tongue to move around sloppily. You also might need to do a bit of thinking when saying words, as you will need to continuously replace the first sound of words with R. Instead of Shaggy, Daphne, Thelma, and Fred, say Raggy, Raffney, Relma, and Red. Component number 6, prosody. Scooby-Doo essentially always sounds either excited or confused. Both of these emotions actually require similar changes to his prosody. As we said for the vocal cords, we want to make sure we have pretty dramatic changes in pitch. The quicker these changes occur, the more excited or confused he will sound. So make sure to have those quick but drastic changes in pitch. Rhythmically, he only typically says a few words at a time, which makes it pretty simple to imitate. Listen to his catchphrases and see if you can catch the rhythms.
Scooby Snack? Whoa! Scary! Where are you? Ruh-roh! Scooby-Dooby-Doo!
Let's recap.
Run.
The vocal cords. We want to fluctuate his pitch with big sweeps from low to high and high to low. The vocal cords themselves will also give us some distortion to his voice, which you can find by doing the sigh or the ape grunt sounds.
Rumbaroo?
The larynx. The larynx is mobile for Scooby, moving up as he raises his pitch and down as he lowers it. In general, think of it being a bit lower.
Rubbery?
The tongue. Keep the tongue in the position and let it be free to move about nonsensically.
Roar?
The soft palate. The soft palate will also move between being raised and lowered depending on whether we are trying to do a high-pitched or low-pitched sound.
Rubberized?
Articulation. Scooby has great diction for a dog, but terrible diction for a human. Make most words start with the R sound and make it as sloppy as possible.
Rubberized?
Prosody. We want to be sure to have quick, dramatic changes to make him seem excited or confused.
Thank you
For watching New York Speech Coaching's
Voice Breakdown.
episode number 19. Be sure to check out future episodes of Voice Breakdown, the show where we teach you how to imitate some of the most
Iconic voices. See you next time. Raggy? Where are you?
Here I am, Scoob! Don't worry, Brennan's gonna break down my voice next episode! See you next time!